Today, how are you today? Oh, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. This is what I need you to do. I need you to look at the person on your left real quick. Oh, God. Oh, your other left. Yeah, man, come on, man. This is TEDx. Okay, look at the person on your left and say this. You look marvelous today. You better believe it. Now look at the person on your right. Come on your other right, man. This is going to be a long day. And tell them this. You look incredible today. Now, guys, give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand because we're going to have fun here today. I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you this question. Are you ready for the speakers today? Are you ready for them? Are you ready? Listen, the first speaker that we have today, oh my goodness, she is becoming a great friend of mine, and I just met her this morning. I call her an overcomer. I call her victorious. She calls herself a thriver. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome our first speaker for today, Miss Jill Johns.
I'd like to invite everyone to please rise. We're going to begin today by doing some deep breathing. So reach to the sky, breathe in. Sigh out and fold forward. Reach up to the sky again, breathe in, and sigh out as you fold forward. One more time. This time, reach up to the sky, breathe in, and give me a chuckle on your way out. Reach up to the sky again, breathe in, and an even louder chuckle. Fantastic. As you take your seats, look around at the smiles and bright eyes next to you. You just experienced the power of pressing pause. You were able to make a break from the busyness and the swirl from this morning and arrive right here, right now, in this present moment. Laughter is one of my favorite ways to press pause because it's playful, it releases endorphins, but it also allows us to create a shared experience. But let's talk about this concept of the swirl for just a minute, shall we? I'd like you to rub your hands together like I'm doing right now. I want you to internalize in your bodies what it feels like to be in the swirl. Thank you. You can put your hands down. The swirl is the checklist that you have to do in your life. The laundry, the groceries, the meetings, the to-dos that never seem to end. The swirl is also the weightier things. Maybe it's your mortgage payment, or your aging parents, or maybe it's your own deteriorating health. So it's important for you to acknowledge what's in your swirl. What's it like when you try to make decisions in the swirl? If yours is anything like mine, it is virtually impossible to make a good decision when I'm in the swirl. You see, for 15 years, I was a corporate executive. Suddenly, I was laid off. I had 4 children. My bills were piling up. My nerves were getting thin. When suddenly, I got the phone call from my doctor that the biopsy results were positive. So not only was I living in the chaos and the swirl of my normal life, but now I had this major decision to make. I could barely decide what to make for dinner, much less decide what I needed to do for treatment. And to make matters worse, I had my husband who was adding to my swirl with his concern and his love for me. I had my parents adding to my swirl in different ways. You can imagine my brain felt like spaghetti. I felt like I was a figure skater, spinning and spinning and spinning. Have you ever felt that way? So what does a figure skater do when she's trying to stop the swirl? She throws her arms up in the air and digs her toe into the ground. So throw your arms up with me and go general. If you feel, you can put your arms down, if you feel that swirl of your life where you're spinning and spinning nonstop, I invite you to go general and throw your arms up in the air. When you throw your arms up in the air to go general, it's only a fleeting moment that you can feel a little bit of relief. Going general doesn't last very long. But once you've gone general, you need to press pause. Now put your hand on your heart for me. Pressing pause is about connecting with your heart. What's going on inside your heart, your mind, your body? You can put your hand down. Sometimes pressing pause looks like a physical activity. Maybe it's playing soccer, going for a run, walking outside in nature. Sometimes pressing pause is on the spiritual level. Maybe it's yoga, meditation, prayer. Sometimes pressing pause looks like understanding your emotions, whether that's through journaling or therapy or establishing boundaries. Whatever it might be, pressing pause is as unique to you as there are snowflakes in the sky. And it's important to note that when we're pressing pause, what works for you today may not work for you tomorrow. It's an ongoing process of pressing pause. For me, when I got that cancer diagnosis and I was in the swirl, I went general for a very brief moment, and then I had to figure out what was right for me on a day in and day out basis to press pause. Now, some things were wonderful for recharging my batteries, and other things just didn't seem to work, and I had to practice it over and over again. When we started our session today, we did a little bit of laughter. That's a great way for me to recharge my battery, but that might not work for you. Another wonderful way to press pause and recharge our battery is through some simple breathing. So again, I'm very participatory. So this time I'm going to ask you, if you're comfortable doing it, to uncross your legs, sit in your chair, and feel your feet grounded before you. You can put your hands in your laps, palm down, palm up, however you're feeling. And I invite you to simply breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. This time, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, and unclench your jaw. One more time, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and release your shoulders away from your ears. How are your batteries now? Better? Fuller? Now imagine doing this frequently, over and over and over throughout your day. You would get to the end of the day with a full battery, not one of those empty red batteries like so many of us have when we plop exhausted into our beds at the end of the day. Now, for a lot of people, they think that pressing pause is the end of the journey. We did it. We pressed pause. Well, you know what? The reason that we press pause is to gain clarity. Remember that swirl, that spaghetti, that muddy water that I was experiencing when I was in the swirl? If it wasn't for going general and pressing pause, I would not have been able to gain the clarity that I needed to make a good decision about my health. And you know what's interesting when you make a decision with clarity is that everyone around you senses the clarity as well. It's almost like it's a gift to your loved ones for you to be making the decision after the pause instead of in the middle of the swirl. And gaining clarity allows you to tap into something that I call the hell yes life. It's the life where you start saying no to all of the things that aren't destined for you, so that you have the capacity to say hell yes to all the things that are uniquely yours. You see, for me, I was able to step out of that spaghetti, that muddy water, that swirl that I was living in order to not only gain the clarity about what I needed to do for my own life, but also for the lives of the breast cancer survivors that were in my community. I became a certified breast cancer patient navigator and a doctoral student at the Jung Ping Soo College of Public Health at Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia. Had I not acknowledged my swirl, gone general, pressed pause to get the clarity, I can promise you that I would still be doing all of the wrong things and not all of these right things. So now, here I am today, working with a world-class team of researchers to figure out how to help rural, socioeconomically deprived, medically underserved communities like mine have increased survivorship rates for cancer survivors. And you won't be surprised to find out that our preliminary data is telling us what? That pressing pause for breast cancer survivors allows them to not just survive, but thrive. Not surprising, is it? So my question for you is today, what's going on in your world? What swirl are you living in? The swirl of your life, the swirl of your relationships, your career, your business, your own health. Are you able to acknowledge that swirl? And for a fleeting moment like that figure skater, can you go general long enough to press pause and listen to your own heart? And are you willing to gain the clarity necessary to live your hell yes life? You see, it's not easy to do. It's simple, but not easy. And I don't recommend that you start with a big problem like deciding what to do with your cancer as your first place to try this formula on, okay? So do it for me. Start small. Start with something simple. But I'm going to invite you one more time to feel it in your bodies. I want you to acknowledge the swirl. When you're in that swirl, I want you to go general. Once you've gone general, press pause and feel it in your heart so that you can gain clarity and live your hell yes life. And when you do that, you will truly unleash the power of pressing pause. Thank you.